Hey, welcome in Buff Nation to another edition of S2S Colorado Live. As always, I'm Manny, and now we, if you guys did not, see the tweet, we have a co-host now, and so big announcement here where we're going to welcome Miles to the S2S family. Miles, welcome. Couldn't be happy to have you on, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Appreciate the invite. Looking forward to, like I said, talking ball, talking Buffs, and really just diving into some of the numbers behind the offseason here.
Perfect. Yeah, really appreciate it. Yeah. So again, this is Miles. So welcome in, Buffs. So yeah, make sure to give us a follow on X. You can follow me at Manny_303, IG at 303_Manny. Miles, you can follow at Miles High Buffs. And if you take a look too, it's scrolling across the bottom there as well. Catch us on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon. Believe we are now part of. So essentially it's where you get your preferred podcast platform. Also check out the Voice of College Football Colorado store. Tons of merchandise in there. Check it out and, let us know, purchase something. It only helps support the show. So we had a big week, huh, Miles?
Yeah, honestly, it's been like the most crazy couple of days, I feel like, in CU portal. I don't remember the other portal windows being this like rapid in succession like this.
Yeah, it's wild. I was going through it, and I think you and I have texted like, hey, okay, so we're at 20. You're like 21, no 22, and then it's just like, I'm like, oh my god, I can't keep up. So throughout the day, right, like you'll check your phone, a couple hours pass by, and it's like 3 players have committed, and you're like, what is happening here, right? So I don't know if that was the case with you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I think it's been like a consistent, 3 per day at this point. But I mean, I'm super excited about everybody that's coming in. Like there was a little bit of concern after last season about how they're going to do in the portal, but so far so good. And, I'm looking forward to talking about it further.
Right. Yeah. And so let's dive into this. I wanted to, a portal edition, because I don't think we could wait till Monday for the next show. And man, 23 total players have committed. When we did our show on Monday, it was 10. I believe it was 10 or 11 total on Monday evening. A couple more hit that night, right? Did it, right? We got our linebacker, right? ESPN. But yeah, it has just been wild. Miles, can you think of what? I guess let's start with this. Which player are you most excited for? Where do you think they just absolutely hammered that player?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that to me, was the most surprising. There's actually been 2. Was Santana Hopper. That came for me out of nowhere. I didn't know anything about that. Didn't hear about it. Super productive. Love, the production at a big school in the G5 like Tulane. And then the linebacker from Texas. I don't want to mess it up. Leona Leu. I don't want to get it wrong. But just seeing great production out of the SEC like that, especially at the linebacker position with how poor that play was last year. Super excited about both of those additions just right off the top.
Absolutely. And, I love the, what is it? There's Marcus Peters. We ain't done yet. And it is far from it, far from done. There are so many holes to fill. And it has just been, holy cow, it has been popping constantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, as the chat is saying, right, it's a little bit out of control. Like, I think, most every team is dealing with some level of like 10 to 30% of their roster going into the portal at this point. But you got to play the game. You got to play the game that's in front of you. And I think the Buffs are in a really good position to play it at a high level. So, I mean, I think we're in a good spot so far, but I'm excited about what's to come too for the rest of the portal period.
Absolutely. This has just been a crazy year. Yeah, we got a couple in the chat here. I just wanted to get to some of our loyal listeners here. Chad Bolton says, welcome. And I think we had, there was one more, if I remember correctly. If I didn't see it, it's okay. Yeah, we had a
Let's go Buffs. Let's go.
Yeah. Go Buffs. Yep. And then I like this one too. Yeah. Humble Texan says, I for sure was a portal doubter, eating my words. I admit I was wrong. And I know it's last year I thought this team right? You look around, right? And I did the same thing. I was star chasing, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought that was an 8 to 9 win team just based off of talent alone.
Yeah, I mean, I drank, the Kool-Aid with it too. I thought they're going to be a lot better than they were. Unfortunately, I think one of the things that you're realizing if you're Deion Sanders and the recruiting staff is that it's not always the stars and the production and the rankings on these websites that ultimately are going to make the best football team, right? You want production, you want leaders, you want guys that want to be there. And I think that that's one of the biggest themes I've seen so far is they're bringing in, leaders, high character guys who really want to be buffs. And so that's honestly the most exciting part for me so far.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just a lot of the players too, outside of a couple of them, there's a 500 snaps. It looks like was having to be career snaps having to be played. There had to have been production. And that is, essentially what they went after. And, as we dive into this, we have a review for Monday with what we talked about, right? But I just kind of want to put this in context for everybody as to how big this class is growing and how much more room there's to go and just the level of players that Colorado has landed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to go back to just to before. If you guys are in the chat, please, we want this to be as engaging as possible. So if you guys have questions, obviously you've seen the numbers, you've seen the posts, but if you have questions you want us to answer about these players or just get our opinions on it, throw them in the chat. We're happy to talk to you.
Yep, absolutely. Even PFFs. I know, Miles, you inspired me a couple weeks ago to when you were on the show, so I bit the bullet there and got PFF.
Nice.
So, yeah, I've been in and out of there. I reached out to them a little bit. I want to see formations and tendencies and all that, but I don't think they offer that to just regular subscribers. I think it's a team thing is who they offer that to.
Yeah, and I think you see a lot of times, especially on Twitter, that people are like, PFF is BS and doesn't mean anything. I think what we're supposed to do with this information as fans is pair it with watching film, looking at the raw stats, and then also hearing what the actual teams that are losing those players have to say. When you see, dang, I'm really upset that we're losing a Cree Thomas, for example. It's that tells you a lot about, how that prior team, viewed that player. So it's not the end all be all when they have a really high PFF grade, but at the same time, it just gives you a little bit more context, which I think is important.
I always say it tells a part of the story, right?
100%.
Gives you a snapshot. Yeah. So let's dive into this, right? We talked about Cam Perry on Monday, transfer from Miami, Ohio, 5'9", 168 pounds, redshirt junior, 3-star high school, 3-star portal, but the 43 receptions, 976 yards, the part that I don't think people that miss here, it is 22.7 yards per catch. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just a dynamic route runner, right? I think this is, again, another one of those things that we see in this class is these kind of undervalued, deemed as small type of guys, but highly skilled, highly, talented when it comes to the ins and outs of running routes and making plays. And Cam Perry is the pinnacle of that. And so especially in the go-go system, I think that's a guy that you're going to slot in on day one and is going to be a high production receiver for you right off the bat.
Yep. And one of the things I did not look up that I need to is his yak, right? Yards after catch. Mm-hmm. I just see him catch the ball and take off with it, right? Everything I've seen. Didn't look that up. Again, that's on me. But the yards after catch for him are holy cow. Holy cow. Just watching him run routes, everything is this is the definition of a slot receiver, right? And in this go-go offense, you can never have too many of those, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there's a couple other guys that, also fit that mold, which we're going to get into. It's going to be a competition at the end of the day. I think that's one of the things that you identify early on when you bring in Coach Marion is there's going to be guys that want to play for him and they're going to have to compete to do so. None of these guys are going to walk in on day one thinking that they're the starter. They're going to have to go through fall camp and really prove it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nope, I'm right there with you. Next player. Real quick, PFF score is 77.3 overall, 77.3 receiving grade. Next one. Edge Yamil Talib, we talked about him. Charlotte, 6'2", 240, redshirt freshman. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot of production in his young career, being a redshirt freshman, but good size, 6'2", 240, like you mentioned, playing at Charlotte, obviously where we got, Nakai Hill-Green from. I think this is a development piece. This goes back to another part of this, which there was a comment I think that Chad, put in a couple minutes ago about how is anyone supposed to build a program in the portal with such drastic turnover rate every year? And like, I agree 100%. But the thing about it is, like, for example, this is a redshirt freshman. If this is somebody that wants to be here, that, has a relation to somebody who has Denver ties in a keep league, at the end of the day, I think that it's not a bad thing to go get a redshirt freshman that you think has a lot of potential out of the portal. The question becomes, how long do you keep those guys? If they're flipping over every single year, you might be concerned. But picking up a young guy like that with a lot of potential in the coach's eyes is a win in my book.
Yep, I agree too. Tons of potential there. Size is there, and and again, what we talked about a little bit on Monday is it's starting to feel like there's going to be a defensive shift in philosophy-based scheme, just based off of what we're seeing, right? Like that's a big edge, 6'2", 240. Right, redshirt freshman, totally. And it was been kind of the theme with these edge players. It kind of, you start thinking a little bit, are they moving to a 3-4, right? And that's kind of what we talked about Monday, but it does kind of have that feel a little bit like, is a 3-4 about to come to CU now?
I've heard that from a lot of people. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I think year one you had something closer to a 4-2-5, and you had really strong linebacker play out of those two guys in the middle. But at the end of the day, I think they learned their lesson from not having like true linebackers, and so wanting to get more depth there in the box is going to help you with stopping the run. And to answer Chad's question directly, I agree. I think consistency is really hard with this. But one of the things that's really important is just remembering that you have to have guys that want to be here, regardless of how much you're paying them, how good their stars are. Like at the end of the day, if you just have guys that are going to, hop in every year looking for the biggest check, then you're never going to have consistency on any team. But I've gained the sense that they are looking for high character guys, and that, consistency is going to be something that they're going to prioritize moving forward.
Absolutely. And I know, just to, catch up on the chat a little bit, Rodney Freeman, he says, I hope we get Seaton's cousin McFadden and offensive tackle Alex Payne, who played for Niblett in high school. Yeah. I've seen that too. Ohio State. I don't know, what you're hearing on that. If you heard anything on that.
I've heard they're trying. I try not to and this is one of the things, I just want to set this as a precedent, because this happens all the time on Twitter, is people are like, tell us what's happening. Yeah. And part one of that is like, everybody has relationships that they need to maintain when it comes to this stuff. But two is like, why would I go out of my way to ruin these kids' announcements, right? If McFadden is coming, I want him to have the opportunity to share that information on his own accord, share it with the guys who are going to put out the graphics. Like, I'm not going to go ruin that kid's announcement, but I know that, as you can imagine, creating the family atmosphere is important. And if they have a chance to bring in Seaton's cousin, then of course they're going to go for that. Yeah. But it's not one-sided in the relationship. He has to want to come here too. So we'll see.
Yep. Two things, right? And then I think Rodney asked another one. Any word on Chappa? We need a running back. Do y'all have any running backs in mind? I know, what was it? CJ Baxter. I don't know what's going on there. I know he was in town earlier in the week in Boulder. Yeah, I don't know where things stand with him. I believe he has a couple more. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday, I want to say, but he has a couple more visits lined up, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that the visit went well, that he liked Boulder. There's an extensive injury history there, which, if Buff fans can remember, we've had running backs that were highly recruited out of high school that didn't end up, playing at CU. And I don't want to drop names. People probably know who I'm talking about there. But at the end of the day, I think it's just important to remember that, like, the guys that come out of high school with high stars, these 5-star guys who were the number one kids in their class at their position, if they haven't produced early on, they're really going to go after something where they can be the guy, and they want all the touches. They want to prove that they could live up to that rating. And I don't think that that's a system for a guy like CJ Baxter. I don't think you have one running back dominating all the carries. If any, there's going to be more than 2 on the field at any given time. So I wouldn't put my hopes in CJ Baxter. I wouldn't put it out of the question if he wants to take a chance on it, but I just don't see it as possible, like a high likelihood right now.
Yeah. Now, are you talking about Darrell Scott? Is that who you're talking about?
No. I was talking about, it's blanking on me right now. The guy from went to Arizona State, came from Houston. It's blanking on me right now.
Yep, me too.
He was that first year. I can't remember. He had the knee injury. Somebody
Nope.
in the throw it in the chat. I can't remember.
Yep.
Either way, we'll get back to it.
Yep. And yeah, I do agree here. A Jones 512, Micah Trackhawk, Price Smith, Henderson. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Trackhawk. I love DeKalen Taylor. I think he brings a different element to the offense, and as well as 2 running backs now from Sac State that they picked up that we'll talk about. But I mean, I think they have their running backs. It seems like, right?
Yeah, and again, I think that's a position that Alton McCaskill, that was the name I was looking for. Alton McCaskill, highly graded out of high school, ended up getting injured. Anyway, yeah, I think the running back room is pretty set. I feel comfortable with that. You got a lot of variety in the types of backs in that room. Like we'll get into obviously with Damen Henderson being 6'2", 210. And then I think it's Jaquil.
Yes.
I don't want, again, I'm so bad with names, but 5'11", 171 as a freshman. Again, young body, produced really well in his first year at Sac State. So you've got these guys who know the system, different body types, different running styles, merging that with guys who are in the program. So it's a running back heavy offense. You've got a mix of some portal guys and some guys that are here, but I feel pretty good about it as is. You might want some high level talent, but we'll see.
Yep, I'm with you there. I'm good where we're at. And let's jump back to this. So one of my favorite ones, Edge Lumont Lester Jr. out of Monmouth. Man, this dude is 6'2", 230 pounds, redshirt freshman, 0 stars out of high school, 3-star portal. So 37 tackles, 11 and a half tackles, TFLs, and 9.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. This is one that I feel a lot of people are sleeping on because it says Monmouth. He is and this is one of those things like, oh yeah, that's a perfect 3-4, right? You're one of your guys that are down. You don't know if he's going or coming. That is one of those, outside linebacker positions that looks like you play that. What is it? Your Nick Benito role or whatever you want to call it that the Broncos run with that 3-4. He is like the perfect fit for that. For that.
I think that's a great comparison too. Again, redshirt freshman, young guy, unrecruited in high school, somebody who develops really quickly, was the 49th ranked defensive edge in the portal per 247, 91.4 overall. Again, there is some level of, you got to take that with a grain of salt being at the level of competition that it was. But 92.7 pass rush grade. That's an animal right there at any level. And you want to put him with the big boys and see what he can do. And I think the thing that's important to remember is if you're not going to take a chance on somebody like that, who are you going to take a chance on? Like they're clearly able to play high level football. The question is how high of a level. So I agree with you. I'm excited about that one too.
And that one is my favorite recruit so far. And I know it's the under the radar one, but man, I love that. I think this dude is going to be a menace for the Buffs next year. He can get after the passer. He is relentless. Just love everything that he brings. Just a little bit of film that I watched, and I was like, holy shit, this dude can play.
100%.
Who's our next guy that we have on there?
Danny Scaduro.
Yep.
Belenikoff Awards semifinalist. Another high-level wide receiver, which is it warms my heart. It really does. I don't know if you had a chance to watch his film, but
pieces of it. I haven't sat there and, we have all off season, right, to go over it. I'm just trying to keep up day by day.
Sure.
Some of the, highlights I want to say, but, highlights are highlights, but holy cow, production, everything's there. Belenikoff and what I said is there is something going on at San Jose State because it was Nash last year was a Belenikoff finalist, right? Travis Hunter won it over him. I mean, and Travis Hunter, right? It is not San Jose State, it's Colorado. But, he had better stats than Travis Hunter last year, right? Nash. And what was his first name? Do you remember his
Nick
Nash, yeah. And that dude was amazing. And it's like, what are they putting in the water there up at San Jose State? Because this dude is it's just crazy. You have 2 Biletnikoff, in the running for Biletnikoff Award in back-to-back years at San Jose State, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the type of production, again, that you want in an offense like this. Proven route runners, highly skilled. These, you're not seeing a lot of like really tall, go up and moss a guy type of receivers. But at the end of the day, you've got highly skilled and guys that, are going to get open and then can make plays in the open field. So, 74.8 overall, 75.5 receiving grade. If I remember correctly, that would have been the highest ranking of anybody on CU last season.
Yeah.
We didn't grade all that high, but yeah, that's another one of my favorites too. We're saying everybody's our favorite, and like I don't want to make this whole show just like 23 our guys.
Yep.
But
it is
they really hit early and often in this,
and and we'll dive into more, but it looks like a plan's in place here, right? This year, right? Mm-hmm. Like the puzzle pieces connect here. So with the whole class so far. Totally. And then real quick, I almost called him Nick Nash now, but 88 receptions, 1,291 yards and 10 touchdowns. That is high production. And again, this is San Jose State, so G5 school. It is this kid can play. I expect a lot of success out of him. So really excited for that one as well.
Yeah, I also, and not to like push people in any way to other shows or anything, but like DNVR had a really great interview with both him and Cam Perry. So, and apparently they came on a visit, might be roommates together. Like that could be your 1 and 2 in the receiving room who already are locked in together, which I just love when guys are like so excited to be here and, want to get on campus as soon as possible. And he seems like one of those guys too.
Yep. I'm with you there. Next player, running back, Damen Henderson, second out of Sac State, 6'2", 210 pounds, sophomore, 3-star high school, 3-star portal, 91 carries for 565 yards, 5 touchdowns. Now, I think, again, this is one of those things where everyone's like, well, he only had 565 yards. He had 91 carries. He averaged 6.2 yards per carry. Have you had a chance to watch Damen Henderson run?
Yeah, and it is I want to say like shades of a bigger Anthony Hankerson. And again, Anthony Hankerson is a really great running back, so don't quote me on that if it ends up not being as skilled. But at the end of the day, like you look at him, you look at the other running back too, Smith, and both of them were roughly in the 500 yards range, 5 touchdowns, over 6 yards per rush. But yeah, I mean, he's a big guy, big body, but he doesn't run like it. A lot of times those guys run super up, straight up and down. No, he is agile on his feet, which is exciting to see for somebody that size.
Heck yeah. And yeah, let's see here. Let's catch up here. So we had Money Policy News says they need 300 plus pound D linemen. They don't have many. That's the biggest issue now. They need the big boys that can stop the run. They don't have any now. Am I the only one concerned about that or not?
No, it's a valid concern. I agree. I think you need a couple of 300-pounders on both sides of the ball, to be honest. I would love a couple more offensive linemen as well that are in the 300-pound range. I would say just wait. If you can see it, they definitely see it too. Nobody that even remotely watched anything that happened this offseason goes, wow, CU lost their entire defensive line room. Like they don't need any defensive linemen. So yeah, no, I hear you. And I think you want to address the position that you had the most issues with schematically. Again, linebacker and some of the edge play. And hopefully, the big D tackles can really run stuff in there as well. But they're coming. Don't worry.
Yep. And, like you said, they know that. We know that. Everybody knows it. And, again, it just takes time, and one of the things that I like to keep talking about is, right, Jaheim Otis, right? Like the kid can play when he wants to, when he shows up and knows he's, wants to. But you sign players like that, it didn't get us very far last year, right? It was more of like, damn, like we should have probably signed somebody else or used that money on 2 or 3 different D tackles. So what it does seem like, and again, just my understanding of it is that Prime is handpicking everybody. He's there, he's grinding. Everything's running through Coach Prime last year. And again, like we talked about, is you had last year, Coach Prime was dealing with some health issues and wasn't with the program. And again, there is no blame there. And again, as many times I got to say that is not his fault. He did what all of us would do. We are grateful. Thank God that he is okay, ready to roll again. But this is a lot different field than last year. And Coach Prime knows that as a defensive back, right, as the greatest corner to ever play, he understands, that both are needed, right, to help the corners do their job better, to not have to cover as long. There is help on the way there on both sides of the trenches. That is where you win football games.
Totally. And for the price you paid for Jaheim Otis's production, you could get 5 or 6 guys probably at the G5 level that are just like the D linemen and the defensive edges are probably the most hungry of those types of guys that have to prove themselves on this level, that they're not just size, right? That they have more there. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be important. And just to touch on Hubble Texan had a comment right there, top 5. Oh, we'll do that one too. I'm not saying I'm not talking about the content of DNVR in any capacity. I'm referring to the fact that the interview with the actual players that are coming to see you was very interesting. Hearing them speak, hearing about their visits and that type of stuff. So that's what I'm referring to in that context, just so everybody knows. But yeah, I think we want to move on to the next one. Yeah, top 5 and so that was O-line. Right.
Yeah. Top 5 lines. O-line they were. Yep. Was that O-line or D-line? O-line, it didn't seem to pan out. And again, I think what happened was what got me throughout the year, and I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago on the show, was they were running a zone scheme with humongous linemen. You cannot run, you sprinkle it in here and there. If they would have ran straight power gap scheme, right, like through you have your left side 1 3 5 7, right, 9, whatever you want, 2 4 6 8, right, on the right side. If they would have been running that power gap scheme, I think it would have worked out a lot better. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know when they started hitting plays, starting to be able to run the ball, they started running power plays. They were pulling linemen around, getting out, and they kind of got rid of the zone. With the zone blocking scheme, you were going to need smaller, more athletic linemen to run a zone blocking scheme. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what that looks like. And again, the scheme just did not match. And again, Pat Shurmur was, we can all say it, he's no longer with the Buffs. He didn't do a very good job last year. Did not at all, 0. And, we can almost make that argument of, right. And again, I keep going back to this. If Scaduro and Travis Hunter had a different offense coordinator, would it have looked different last year? What would their record would have been?
2 years ago.
Geez, 2 years ago now. Holy cow. Holy cow.
If Pat Shurmur helped us get to 9-3, what could Coach Marion do? I don't think they would have wanted to play an offense like that, but I get your point. Yep. But yeah, I remember that stat coming out, them being top 5. I agree. I don't think it's just about size. When that came out initially, I was like, there is literally, you could go find the biggest, guys, possible and put them on the line just to be the top of that statistic. It doesn't actually mean anything. You have to have the right scheme. You have to have the right talent. It doesn't make a difference. But yeah, let's keep moving down the list here too.
Jaquil Smith, right, is where we're. Yep. Jaquil. Yep. Sac State, 5'11", 171 pounds, freshman. Take that one, Miles, because you were just kind of alluding to him a little bit ago.
Yeah. Again, I think it's, as a freshman, 511 yards, 5 touchdowns, 6.7 yards carry, super quick, cuts on a dime, super agile, 81.4 overall, 76.8 run grade. But I think that one of the things, again, you're gonna notice here, going back to the CJ Baxter thing too, there isn't going to be just a guy that is 1,000-yard rusher in this offense. You're going to have a lot of guys. I don't think this is the year you're going to finally get that explosive one running back in the CU offense. You're going to have a lot of guys that are getting this high yards per carry, but not a huge overall, because we're rotating a lot and keeping the offense moving in a quick pace. But as a freshman, super talented and super excited to see how he develops, puts on a little bit of weight. Yeah, I think it's a great pickup in the running back room.
Yep, I think so too. I think it's a great ad. You need that one. I'm curious to see, some of these, right, like as a freshman with Jaquil Smith, is he one that's going to have, I don't want to say the odd man out, but one that they're looking at building, right? As a freshman, I do expect him to get some burn this year. But I'm just curious if he's one of those guys that came over with Coach Marion with the understanding you're going to play, but we're not quite there yet, right? With a couple of the guys the Buffs already have on roster ahead of him, which is okay. And they're, go back to that commitment piece is, are they here, right? Are they here for the long term? Do they want to be here, right? And so it's gonna be interesting to see what they would do with him, right? So we'll have to watch that, let it play out a little bit with some of these guys. And some of these guys we're not going to see next year, right? Some of these dudes are going to be depth, right? Colorado has to replace a ton of players, right? I don't even know. What was outgoing, 34, 40?
Yeah, and that's not even including guys who graduated. I think the number was between 50 and 60 in total with graduations. So they got work to do. And to go to Rodney's most comment there if you want to pin that one.
Yep.
I think this is something you probably can back me up on this, Manny, but
Yep.
I don't think anybody really knows everybody that has visited and or is visiting. Like, we get bits and pieces, we get, words from people, saying there's people on campus and whatnot, but I don't think they want everyone to be known. In terms of who's going to be there, but there's a lot happening behind the scenes that we don't know yet.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. I know that I had a list on Monday, and that was different because it was, more, it was just the start of it. And, I keep going on 24/7 Sports trying to get some information. I don't know who's visiting. I didn't even have that list that was even reported by 24/7 Sports. It didn't include everybody because you don't know who's coming. You don't have to report all of them publicly. I say those don't have to be reported publicly. So it is hard to say who's coming. I don't know. I don't know some of the big names. We didn't know some of these dudes were even on campus that were signing. So, that's what that kind of looks like. Let me see. Demysticles G said both Sac State running backs over 1,000 last year. I think running back room is strong now with additions. Are we talking about?
I was gonna say I don't think so. They both were at 500. So if you're talking about the two of them together being over 1,000, correct?
Yeah.
Unless I missed something, that would be a lot of yardage.
Yeah, that would be a ton. Yeah, I'm trying to think because who are their starting running backs? Do we? At Sac State?
I think it was Rodney Hammond, who is still in the portal, if I remember correctly, and then some combination between Jaquil and again, I do apologize if I have that wrong, and Damen Henderson. Those were, I think, the top three in terms of overall snap count.
All right, and none went over 1,000 because the ball is spread out a lot in this offense. Yeah. So yeah, move on to edge. So this is one I'm gonna mess up. Bansama Kamar. University of Albany, 6'3", 257 pounds, junior, 0-star high school recruit, 3-star portal, ranked 80th as an edge, 67 tackles, 13.5 tackle TFL, 7.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 83.6 overall, 86.2 rush defensive grade, 81.2 pass rush grade. So I like what I saw from there. And again, this is a big edge, another big edge coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, people will see University of Albany and think that that's something to be concerned about, but highly productive, 7.5 sacks, forced fumbles. This guy is relentless. If you go watch that tape, this is somebody who I feel like we had an issue last year in terms of, you go through your first move on the line, essentially. I don't know what the right terminology for that would be, but and essentially it doesn't go the way you want. You kind of give up on the play. We had a lot of guys who was like, that didn't work. All right, well, kind of give up. Bansama is relentless. He will go until he cannot anymore. And so that's the type of guy you want to continue. Guys who have high motors, especially on the defensive edge. And both high pass rush and run defense grades. Sometimes you have one or the other in that realm, but he graded really high in both, which is nice to see.
Yep. So this is, a 3-down player, when you have those two scores together, they can be on the foot. Yep. All 3 downs. And
I want to make a correction super quick. Rodney Hammond did have 1,200 yards as a Sac State running back last year. So they did have a 1,000-yard receiver, but they also had 2 others that equaled to 1,000 as well. You're going to get a lot of running back production in this offense. So we're correct in both counts.
And so let's see here. Humble Texan says, what's included part of a recruitment trip during this portal season? Seems like a bad time to visit a program, especially since they are in the rebuilding process. Like, how do you gauge the future? So with this, I think the recruitment trip is you're selling Julian Lewis and Jordan Seaton. And Coach Brendan Marion is a hell of a recruiter. Like, if you haven't been paying attention to Sac State, there is no reason for Sacramento State to have 4-star players on their roster. Maybe one. There is a lot of 4-star players on Sacramento State's roster because of Brendan Marion. He is getting after it. Even if you look at his track record at Texas, UNLV, the players he brings in, hell of a recruiter. And then at the end of the day, you get to play at Colorado. Every game's going to be nationally televised. I mean, I think at one point it was TNT last year. I don't remember what game it was. It was That sucked. I think it was the West Virginia game, actually. It was on TNT or TBS.
Yeah, it might have been K-State was the last game of the season was ESPN2, I think, or something of that nature.
But, who doesn't want to play for Coach Prime, right? Every game's going to be nationally televised, and I think that is the selling process. And, players have seen Travis Hunter, what they do last year, in my opinion, is going to be an anomaly, not what we're going to be it's not going to be what's the expectation moving forward.
Yeah, it's a great point. I also think as a coaching staff, you're crafting a story. You're crafting essentially what you want the program to be, your level of understanding of what went wrong the season prior, and what's acceptable. Recruits will see through that super quickly if they feel that you're disingenuous. I think they want to understand the position coach's actual, vision for them as a player. A lot of times these guys who hit the portal, if they're not in it for money, want to feel like they are being utilized correctly. So they want to understand. A lot of times they'll sit down in a room and talk about exactly how they plan to use that player and how they fit the scheme and why they like their game and how they feel like they can develop them. You have like Coach Marvin, the linebacker room. You have proven, talent development and guys that they've put on through the next level. And so you have things that you can sell on there. And like you said, you have the chance to go from these G5 schools where nobody really knows your name to being on ESPN and being talked about all over Twitter. So come be a part of the solution. Come be part of the rebuild. We'll always have the eyes on us in some capacity, and we want you to be wow, Gideon Lampron, we'll get there later, but we want you to be the focal point for what turned around Colorado and kept us back in everybody's. So there's a lot of ways you sell the program, but with any school, you're just selling it on a vision and you're selling it on a way that they can be a part of that.
Absolutely. And I think these next ones, because these are review, I want to jump into the new ones, but let's just jump. Next one, Dylan Manuel, Appalachian State, defensive lineman, 6'1", 300 pounds, sophomore. So again, these are the ones we went over on Monday's show. Nathan Mitchell, New Mexico State, 5'10", 175 pounds, redshirt sophomore. Also, he had a really cool interview on DNVR. I saw clips of it, but again, that was really cool what he said. Something about his grandma. So go check that out. Mm-hmm. You want to grab the next one if you want to. The next couple.
Yeah, Toby Anin, I think. This is one of my most favorite pickups so far. Essentially, the reason for that is North Dakota State develops the heck out of players. And what's one of the biggest things that CU had a problem with last year? Undisciplined and penalties. That's not that doesn't happen in North Dakota State. They don't let you be undisciplined. They don't let you, get lost on the field. So for North Dakota State last year, 83.7 overall, 90.1 pass rush grade, 6'4", 259, big edge, comes in as a junior, experienced. And another guy that 0 stars out of high school came in as the 29th ranked transfer defensive edge. So a guy that has been, overlooked and not believed in his entire career. And now he has this opportunity to jump into the P4 and really show himself on a national stage. So that's a guy I think you're going to hear a lot about next season on the edge.
Yep, absolutely. Next guy. So again, this is one I'm going to Manny Ezugu out of James Madison. So this is the one that we were say that again.
Eziogu. I feel so we should know the pronunciations, but we'll get them as we learn these more.
We'll get them down as they get on the team. We'll get a lot better. But if I remember correctly, redshirt freshman. This is one who is just an athlete, just a freak, athletic freak. I believe it was a 30-inch vertical leap, and there
38-inch from what I saw.
What was it?
Well, 38-inch is what
38. Yep, 38-inch, and I can't remember his 40, but it was crazy. 4.43. Does that sound about right?
I saw something about that. I might have accidentally moved it off of the.
It's okay. Hey, no worries. But that is one to look out for. Now, let's jump into these. These are the new guys that we have not talked about. So, defensive lineman, Santana Hopper. 6'2", 265 redshirt junior. I'm going to let you take this one because I know you were super excited about this kid.
Yeah. Again, proven production on the college football playoff stage on a team that won a lot of games. I think it's always weird when you see when players are referred to as a star. I don't know how much I really trust like 247 or On Three rankings. But a strong, I think he slimmed down a good amount from his freshman season, if I remember correctly. He started as a true defensive lineman, lost a lot of weight, became more agile. 31 tackles, 10.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, and a fumble recovery, 80.4 overall. Again, that would have been far and away CU's best defensive player last season. And this is somebody who played in the college football playoff, 91.4 pass rush grade. Like that is elite. If you're looking for somebody to play that kind of hybrid D-line edge role and really get to the passer, that's your guy. That's another name you're going to be hearing a lot about.
One I'm excited about. Real excited for this kid. So and then there was one more I wanted to see. Yeah, and again, need 25 plus more players. Great start for the portal, but Buffs need a lot more. And like we alluded to earlier, they're far from, this is not finished. There is still a whole week left of the portal. It has only been open for 7 days.
And to clarify too, and I'm pretty sure I understand this correctly, the window is to enter the window. Once you're in the portal, you can commit at any point. Once it closes, that is your window to enter the portal. You can commit to a school after you've entered weeks down the line. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, I know we had a conversation about this earlier this season about it. I could not remember that because I know there's something to do with the school calendar. And again, back to that dumb calendar with classes starting. I can't remember if it's you have to commit by then or is it just enter? When is the actual, this is the commit date. So I don't know when that is supposed to take place. I don't know if that's school by school because, right, you have late start schedules at some colleges and universities where it's like you could still start this class within 5 days or 6 days. So I'm not entirely sure how that one works either, though. So
I mean, it's all like pseudo hidden behind this idea that the school elements matter to these kids, and it's. I think it was Nick Saban or somebody high profile said it best when they were like, "These kids that jump around every single year, I don't know how you can graduate doing that. I don't understand how you can." Transfer credits and take classes seriously and all these things when you have like football and moving and all this stuff. But either way, like I'm pretty sure because I've seen guys commit out of the portal once it's like theoretically closed. So I think that's the period to enter. I think you still have time, but either way, they will fill the roster. Don't worry about that. There are a lot of guys you don't know that have been on campus
because the cap is 110 players, right? They moved that last year. The Buffs last year, I think they had about 75 kids on roster, but the cap is there's that 110 that was, struck down. I believe it was 155, somewhere around there. But that there's 110 on a roster. You don't have to fill every single roster spot either.
With the injuries we had last season, I hope they get close because we were depleted. So I agree with the comment here. You need 25 players and you need a lot of depth because you can't have what happened last season with running, wide receivers at cornerback and offensive linemen at D tackle. Like you can't have that happen again.
Yep, I'm with you. Next one, D-line, Tyler Moore, Coastal Carolina, 5'10", 290 pounds, sophomore, 3-star high school, 3-star portal, 196th ranked in the portal, 9 tackles, 1 TFL. His PFF score is 71.2 overall, 72.3 rush defense, and 63.2 pass rush. So I have not had a ton of time to watch film on him. I'm not sure how much you watched of him, if you had time on that.
Not a whole lot. He doesn't have a whole lot of production, to be honest with you. I think he's jumped around schools a couple of times. He's listed on Sports Reference at 6 foot 296, so you're getting a little bit closer to that 300-pound range. He's only a sophomore, can absolutely get better. There are some of these guys that don't have the production, and I think I trust the coaching staff is doing their evaluations. And so if they see something in Tyler Moore that they really think they can develop, then sure thing. And I hope that they do. That's my goal.
Yeah. There's not a ton of production, like you said. And 30 graduated, 30 left, 10 of 11 starters on defense. Need big bodies ASAP. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about roster construction afterward and kind of our different opinions on it. But it is, Yeah, we'll talk about it as we get closer to the end. I don't want to jump down that because I think we're not going to be able to stop with that, right? So, so hang tight. I'm going to let you go with the next one, right? This is
a guy.
Yeah, go for it, Miles. This is you.
Gideon ESPN Lampron. Quote unquote ESPN, ESPN, you can make the determination all you want. I don't know if you heard the story about how he walked up to Prime in the airport. Did you hear about this?
Yep, I heard it.
Yep, and then Prime watched his film or texted somebody to watch his film and then approached him in the back of the plane. That's like the coolest story. That is making like, you know, a difference in your life and taking a chance on something. Like that's a lesson for people in the chat and people watching is take the chance, go talk to that girl, you know, go ask for the job, you know, like, because you never know what's going to happen. This is a guy who approached our head coach in an airport and is now a Colorado Buffalo. And he's highly sought after too. 0 stars out of high school, another guy unrecruited, not seen very highly, but comes in 3-star out of the portal, 95 tackles, 65 stops, 3 sacks. There's a whole lot of other production in there. But just an absolute sideline to sideline linebacker, 6 foot 220. And it is a guy that he can play the Mike, he can play the Will, he can play the Sam, he can play any position, but you probably want him right in the middle of that defense because he's loud, he's vocal, he was a captain at Bowling Green. So everything that we were missing on that defense last year is epitomized in Gideon Lampron.
Yep, and I know I think it was Demysticles on there. He was talking about it, and he said that he was on a USC form, Southern Cal form, and he was they were like, USC fans wanted him. There's a lot of schools that wanted him. So this is a big-time get. I know we only see Bowling Green or whatever it is. This is a big-time get for Colorado. Like, this is this dude's going to start day one. So, you know. This
is the captain of your defense. This is a guy who's going to come in on day one and just – you're not going to have problems with discipline. You're not going to have problems with penalties. This is a guy that you lean on. And we got some breaking news in the chat. Go ahead and pin Cam Duncan's post there.
All right, yeah. Colorado just received 2 new commits.
Yeah,
you have them. You got to do.
We have coming in from a defensive end. We've got Vili. Again, I'm going to butcher this. I do apologize. Taufatofawa? I'm so bad. I'm so sorry.
San Jose State edge.
San Jose State edge had 34 total tackles, 7 TFLs, and 4 sacks, and all Midwest Conference honorable mention. Mountain West Conference. This is a ball player. This absolutely is. Do you want to jump into him now, or do you want? I have some grades on him.
Yep, pull him up.
Okay.
And I'm gonna see who our other guy.
I wonder if we can get a graphic up. But so he ranked as, and this is the new defensive end commit that we just got live, or within the last hour or so that we've been live. He ranked as San Jose State's 6th best defensive player, number 2 defensive edge last season, had a 71.7 overall in 11 games as a starter, had grades of 71.7 pass rush, 65.8 run defense, 69.3 in coverage, with 17 pressures, 4 sacks, 11 hurries, 23 stops, and he started his career at Utah. But another productive player, another guy who has some relationships to other commits that we've brought in so far. Big, strong defensive edge. I'm excited about this one.
Yep, me too. And this is him right here. So if you guys can see it, just post it on his X account. But yeah, really excited about this defensive lineman. And did we get the size on him yet?
Let me look.
Because we can get it pulled up as well.
Yep, I got it here. I've got him at 6'3", 260.
Perfect. So there's 260, or did you say 360?
260.
Okay, I was gonna say, holy cow.
Yeah, do not worry.
Okay. So we have him, and then who's our other? I thought I ran across.
I'm not seeing the other one right yet.
Yeah, I don't see. If you could share in the chat.
Whoever, Cam, did you see something that I'm missing here?
See 2 new commits.
I only see one.
Let me see.
Soto from Sac State.
Yeah, I don't see. Nope, I don't see much there. Nope. Let me see.
Oh, I literally 9 seconds ago or 31 minutes ago came out. Jose Soto, offensive lineman from Sac State, 3 years of eligibility, 6'3", 312. Started at right guard this season. Began his career at San Jose State.
Let me see if I can find a graphic of him. Nothing yet.
Let me grab the grades. Thank you guys for hopping in on that. That was that's very helpful. He ranked as Sacramento State's 11th best offensive player last season. He played in 11 games, 700 snaps. He had a 66.0 overall grade, 65.8 run block, and a 59.2 pass block with 5 penalties. Oh, but he had a lot of a lot of great games. He started off the season a little bit rough, but he had about 9 straight games going from week 3 to week 12 with above 80 in pass block grade.
Very cool.
So really good addition. Started most games at right guard. A couple penalties, but you can work that out. But that's a big experienced offensive line. And one of the things that we talked about, I think, before with Coach Marion is you want to bring in guys on the offensive line who understand the scheme and understand how to be able to essentially run the playbook, because you don't want to be teaching just a bunch of transfer linemen how to run a new scheme like this. You want guys who can teach it to them. This is that type of guy. So thank you guys for breaking that. Appreciate it. We don't look at our phones all that often while we're doing
notes. And then we'll dive into this, I think, too, as we get moving with the season a little bit more. Bucks game 22, and again, just we're to say that they're going to just run Coach Marion's offense and just full control. Prime's going to have some say in it, so it will look somewhat different a little bit, right? It's not going to be identical, right? So there is going to be a little bit of little nuances here, but we'll see what it looks like, if that makes sense, right? And as we get closer and closer, right, I think once we get into spring ball, we will have a really good idea of what it is that they're trying to do, right?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of versatility in this offense. I don't see a whole lot of likelihood that you would run a lot of full spread type of offense. You're going to have at least one running back on the field at all times, probably 2 in most sets. But yeah, I would say you're going to have a run heavy. But I think one of the things about the go-go offense that's really important is you want to have a little bit of trickery in there. So, you run 2-back sets for 70% of the drive, and then boom, you come out with a spread offense, and suddenly they don't know what to prepare for. So, as you pin that one that just came in, right guard is definitely still a question. McGill leaving. We've got a couple guys returning. Kareem Harden's going to be back. I don't know about Phillip Houston. He was mostly a tackle. Yaya played a bit of right guard, I think.
Did they come up with that for Zary McGill? Did they give him that extra year?
I haven't heard anything. I don't think it's all that likely. But he was also a center, so we're still going to be, hunting. We got a couple of spots we got to fill.
And let me get to this. So Northside, how's it going? Been a while. I know I haven't seen you in a while. So this is, Northside is one of our ones is on quite often, Miles. So we got a new host now. I don't know if you caught the beginning. This is co-host Miles, and he's on here with us, and he'll be joining us. So this is, a couple of these guys, they've been on us here since day one. So just thanks for tuning in as always. So
and thank you guys so much for engaging in the chat. This is what we want. We want to make this a community where you guys can talk to us and we talk to you and give you the answers that you're looking for on things. But appreciate you guys. This is accurate. This is definitely accurate. Sorry, not if you want to jump in on that, but they had commits from day one that you guys didn't know about.
Some are still taking visits, right?
Yeah, the same reason that we got guys in the door is the same reason there are guys going on visits. There are relationships to maintain. There's money to be tossed around. I know I've definitely heard that they have budgets in place at every single school just to bring kids in on visits. So the whole idea that I've heard a lot recently, which is like, don't let them leave the building. If they don't commit, they're not coming. Don't believe that, because there's a lot that happens behind the scenes that is super sophisticated with relationships and stuff like that. So we want them to commit when they come, but we understand and we're respectful of the fact that we're not going to trap them in a room and make them sign a piece of paper. Nobody wants that.
And I think too is, when we keep saying the Buffs are not done yet, this is kind of what we're alluding to. So just understand that there's some things, like Miles said, there are relationships that we need to keep on our end, right? And at the end of the day too, we want the kids reporting this. This is their life. They will commit when they commit. And, we don't want to ruin that moment for them. So, so please understand that, again, if we, that's just not kind of what we do. Hopefully that makes some sense. Yeah. But just know more help's on the way, and Buff, we're going to be happy. So
totally.
So yeah, let's see. I'm so super happy.
I got you. The next one up was linebacker Tyler Martinez.
Yep.
Coming in from New Mexico State, 6'2", 225. Again, another super experienced linebacker. Played a lot of football, teammates with the corner that we brought in as well, or the safety that we brought in as well. 2-star out of high school, 3-star out of the portal, 66.2 overall, but a 73.2 tackling grade, which again, you really want out of your linebackers. We had a big issue with tackling last season, as well as 71.6. So might be a little bit more of a will, might be a little bit more of a coverage guy. But 21 tackles, a couple hurries, but experienced as a senior. So you're going to get a lot of production out of that position.
Absolutely. And I think too, so I don't want to say run through these, but I think we're going to jump through these because, the conversations in chat, we see you guys, so please keep posting. But just kind of wanted to give an update on who it is that we got. And again, that roster is far from finished right now. It is so 100%. Far from finished. So we ended with Tyler Martinez. Next one, cornerback Justin. So it's Eaglin, right?
Eaglin, correct.
Eaglin. James Madison, 6 foot, 177, redshirt junior, 0-star high school, 3-star portal, 56th ranked. And again, James Madison. So we think of JMU, like Colorado seemed to be attacking that school, and why not? Because they had a hell of a season, made the college football playoff. Like, why wouldn't you attack that, right?
They also have churned out talent over the last 4 years. Like I saw somebody on Twitter was like, I wish we could go pick up whoever their secondary coach is, because their secondary has been elite. They've brought a lot of players to Indiana. I'm excited for him. 5 interceptions in a single season is nuts. His 74.7 overall, 72.7 coverage grade. This is a guy I see as a day one starter.
Yep, he'll be playing one of the outside corner positions, in my opinion, as well. I think he's starting day one as well. Next one, so I know that people were like, well, all they're doing is recruiting these G5 dudes and FCS, and then, cornerback Cree Thomas, Notre Dame. So there you guys go. Cree Thomas, 6'1", 187 pounds, freshman, 4-star high school, 3-star portal, 18th ranked, played 3 games, 68.8 overall. 67.7 coverage grade, 73.5 tackles, 65.4 run defense, and 39.6 passer rating. So in your NFL, not the 150. What is it in the college? It's 150.
103.8 or something. It's something of that nature.
Yeah, it's really high, but that is really good. 39.6 NFL passer rating when targeted. Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is no shade to anybody in this capacity. This is kind of what I imagined like a Noah King would have been like had he, had a little bit more production in his freshman season. Highly recruited, coming out of high school, 18th ranked corner in per 247 in the portal. Good tackling grade. Didn't play a whole lot, but like he was at Notre Dame, so I don't put too much on that, but. Looks like Cam's trying to break some news here on the chat. The chat's popping. I appreciate this.
It really is. This is fantastic. Yep. And then I think there's a little bit of, about Ezra, Ohio State, Notre Dame visit. Seems like there's a little confusion on if he committed to Notre Dame or not. I don't know. I mean, haven't been able to check yet. So
I also like you saw the DJ thing where apparently DJ was going to Notre Dame, and then apparently his commitment was rescinded. I don't know how binding any of these are. I don't know how binding the signatures are. So like there was the quarterback that was supposed to go to Nebraska that flipped. Like, how do you flip in these scenarios? I thought you're signing a contract. Are the contracts valid? I have no idea. But either way, Ezra, I know, was a big target, big defensive lineman, but they got to take visits, and some schools also need big defensive linemen.
And our guy Cam here, he's just talking about it, saying he knew what was coming, told people to relax, and everyone was hitting the portal. It was tough, but again, I was hearing like, hey, everyone relax, the same kind of thing. So, I kept my cool about myself. I think the one that hurt the most was London Merritt, when I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. For some reason, I don't know what it is, the quarterback position and those edge players, man, I love edge players. So I was bummed, but here we are now, right?
Yeah. And to answer who in the chat there, Deregalo, evidently there was a tweet that DJ was supposed to go to Notre Dame, but his commitment was rescinded for one reason or another. I haven't seen anything. Again, I'm not looking at my phone while we're doing this, but his offer got revoked, evidently. I can't confirm that, but yeah. Let's keep churning through. We got, I think, 5 more that we got to get through.
Okay. Just DJ McKinney. I mean, all right. Taj White, 6'5", 308 pounds. So offensive tackle, senior out of Rutgers, 3-star high school, 3-star portal, 18th ranked, 66.1 overall, 71.3 run block, 54 pass block, 4 sacks allowed, 9 QB hits, 15 hurries, 28 pressures allowed, 4 penalties.
Yeah, there were a little bit of concerning numbers on that in that regard. Like, he had a lot of pressures allowed, a lot of penalties, but he's very experienced. He's got a really good run blocking grade. I did watch some of his film. He's very agile for being over 300 pounds. And he's a tackle. He played primarily right tackle. I think that was, most people can agree, the least sure position on the line last year. You still have a lot of holes to fill in that line for next season, but that's an experienced right tackle that's played in the P4. So I think it's a good addition.
Yep, me too. I'm with you. Go for it. Next one, if you got it, Miles.
Yeah, wide receiver Ernest Campbell. I know a lot of people speculated about this one from the day Coach Marion was hired. One of, if not Sac State's most prolific offensive threats last season. And I want to say the sizes, somebody before mentioned that he's listed at 6'1" for Cree Thomas versus 6 foot. I'm just going off of what I see online. Every website is different. So if it's like slightly different, you're roughly getting what we're trying to get at here. But Ernest Campbell, 5'9", 145, former like track star from what I heard. SEC track star, as track speed. 3-star out of high school, 3-star in the portal, 37 receptions, 755 yards, 8 touchdowns, 20.4 average. I've heard some things about this, and I think this is kind of what you envision Quentin Gibson being. That's the type of production and body and mold that you hope for. Very shifty, very good in open space. But again, another guy who knows the system and knows what is expected from that wide receiver room, who are going to be, pivotal for this offense. So, I'm excited about Ernest coming over to see you.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Slot, whatever it is, Quentin Gibson. But let's see how that plays out. Next one, quarterback Isaac Wilson, Utah, 6 foot, 210, sophomore. So again, if you did not know, right, little brother Zach Wilson, he started against the Buffs. Jeez, I keep wanting to say 2 years ago.
I know.
2 years ago. And, didn't look that great, but that Utah team was brutal. Again, this is your backup quarterback at this point, right? Julian Lewis is the starter, but he was a 4-star high school, 3-star portal. And I think you got to get some depth there, right, at the quarterback position.
Yeah, and from everything I've heard about Isaac Wilson, this is an upstanding individual who is like, we were sad when Ryan Staub hit the portal. Isaac Wilson is somebody who knows his role, is going to come in, is going to be a positive presence. And funny. I tweeted this out the other day for anybody who religiously follows Miles High Buffs, but I played pool with his uncle when I went to Utah for the Utah game. I like ran into him at a bar. His uncle is the greatest pool player I have ever seen in my entire life. So nice family, and I'm excited. You know, you want to have somebody who has experience playing at the P4 to come in on a whim. Isaac Wilson's a great addition in that realm.
Yep, I think so too. And I think so too. And again, if something, you know, like we talked, you know, when Julia needs, if something, you know, not hoping for it, right? Injuries suck, but you got to be ready. And Isaac Wilson's a person that can just plug in and play.
100%. Yeah. Yep. You're not scared if, I mean, you're not happy, but like, you're not Dominic Ponder scared if he goes in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Offensive tackle, Javian Richardson, Missouri, 6'6", 307 junior, 3-star high school, 3-star portal. You know, I don't know a ton about him. I know there was something coming out of high school, if I remember correctly, that dated back to that when he was coming out, but I don't know not a ton about Javian Richardson out of Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big body, played in the SEC. I think that's kind of what you're getting at here. He has experience. He played mostly left tackle at Missouri, started a couple of games. Started off the season really hot against Central Arkansas and Lafayette, and then progressively kind of lost playing time as the season went on. Didn't have some great games. Played a little bit as a freshman, but I think it's a depth piece. Might compete for a rotational spot, but he's not taking over Jordan Seaton, so might be your backup left tackle.
Yep. And then, so this was a big one that caught me off guard. And I don't know about you. I didn't even know he was on campus. Linebacker Leona Leu, Texas.
Yeah, I don't know it either.
6'1", 227-pound junior, 4-star high school, 4-star portal. A lot of upside here. You know, I was scrolling through X, and a lot of Texas fans were pretty bummed out about losing him. They were like, what? He entered the portal, and then the Buffs got him, and it was like, you know, like, oh, man, this is awesome. This is fantastic. So this is probably my second favorite one that I am most excited about, but this Texas linebacker.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a day one starter. This is a leader. This is a highly productive guy. I saw the same thing. Like, Texas fans were really sad about losing him. I'd heard some rumblings. I couldn't verify it in time. Apparently it happened super quickly in terms of getting him in, and he wanted to come. So, yeah, I think this is between him, Martinez, and Lampron. I think you've got your core linebacker group right there.
Yep.
And three guys that are versatile enough to kind of rotate between that Mike, Sam, and Will. So definitely that's one of my highest, highest graded, most excited about is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. You know, I think in my older age, man, I don't know what it is. I've gotten a lot more excited about defense, right? I don't know what it is, but I'm like edge, linebackers, right? Defensive linemen, and then the offensive linemen where I'm like, man, this is where it's at. And maybe you start to understand the game of football better, but those trenches are so important. And then your next level is your linebackers. Like, cannot stress that enough, how super important those, you know, starts D-line, that's your first level defense. Second, your linebackers. Like, that is a lot of the reason Colorado struggled last year on defense, right? Just the D-line getting blown off the ball, your linebackers misreading, missing gaps, missing tackles. It was just, if there was no other way that magnified that, I think this is one of those seasons that everybody has to appreciate a defensive line and linebackers, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's a lot of these guys, we've said it a couple of times, a lot of these guys have really high stop numbers, essentially meaning third down, you know, causing them to have to punt on fourth. Yeah. Folsom Field thrives on third downs. And so these are guys that, like, there is nothing that deflates a defense. There's nothing that deflates a stadium more than a loud stadium becoming dead silent because a big play happens on third down. So yeah, I think you've got guys that are going to turn up to a higher level on that third down as opposed to, you know, getting lost in the moment. So,
and I'll let you.
We've got our last one so far.
Yep,
or last one. Which one? Yeah.
Kicker, go for it, Miles. I'm gonna let you do it.
Kicker Josh McCormick. A lot of people were a little confused about this one coming out of Grambling. 6 foot 205, has a little bit of experience. mostly a kickoff guy. I looked at his numbers. I think he was 6 of 11 on field goals and 1 of 3 on plus 50 yarders. He's a kickoff guy. He's got a big leg, but he's not the most accurate in the world. So that might be your kickoff guy. If I'm pretty sure Buck doesn't have any more eligibility.
I saw something on X. I don't know how true it is, but he is the first black kicker in CU history. Did you see that?
I did not, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, cool as hell. I love it. So, absolutely happy for that, right? I think it's awesome. So,
100%. And the 2 guys that we mentioned before. So we're up to 25 now. For anybody who jumped in late, we got 2 commits while we were on the show. And more to come. More to come for sure.
Absolutely. And so let me ask you this though. I think I was talking about this yesterday in the group chat that I'm in. We were talking about, a bunch of different things and just the Hassan Longstreet transfer, right? That one stuck out. Now I saw that and to myself, I started thinking a little bit and it was kind of up to the beginning of the show. I believe it was Humble Texan asked, let me scroll all the way up there. They asked a question. Let me see about.
It was in relation to how do you build,
how
continuity?
Do you build? Yeah, I said, yep. How do you build the continuity? How do you build a team? Here's the thing that I'm starting to question some things, right? And I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts, and I don't want to throw that out there to the wolves to get you though, Miles. But what I started to think about was, is it even worth spending all that money on high school recruiting at this point? And it's all the resources that are wasted, the money, right? When we're talking about the flights, the hotel stays, you having to rent a car to get there, right? Everything. And then flying those kids out for games, right? Your OVs, those cost a ton of the official visits. Those cost so much money from a school. I remember, and I think I shared this on a show earlier in the season, but, we had a general manager that I was able to sit with. He was telling us about, the group of students. It wasn't just me one-on-one. I'm not that important. So just so you all know, but he was saying they had 5 recruits in town at Texas Austin. They spent $500,000. That is what they budgeted. And now, that keeps ringing through my mind. Is it even worth it to continue wasting resources and money when the portal's right here now? Just kind of your thoughts on it.
Sorry, I would clear my throat there.
You're good.
The short answer, I understand where everybody's coming from with this, and I understand your perspective. The answer is yes, because the most important thing that you can do is build a relationship with a kid early on. Even if they don't come to your school, it's the same reason why, the same reason I try to the best of my ability, and I hope most Buff fans do, when guys leave, wish them well, because the best thing you want is for a kid to have a good experience talking to your university, seeing how your fans interact with them, because things change a lot and kids come back around, and you see these relationships from 7-on-7 camps and like a Kylan Salter, for example. I'm not going to say anything about the Salter family in general, but Caden comes because Kylan grew up with Coach Prime. You build relationships and you want to be in these schools. And I know Prime's not a, in your house type of guy, but that's why they bring in that new coach, the tight ends coach. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but the guy who has experience in Alabama high school recruiting, somebody who knows these families, who knows the ins and outs of what it means to essentially make a college decision. And so, yes, you put the resources in because you budget for it, and everybody has to. Again, you play the game that's in front of you because it's eventually going to come back around and help you in some capacity. A lot of people talking in the chat, about guys that, for example, like a King Joseph Edwards, you want to keep these relationships. Ultimately, if guys leave, they decide to decommit. Prime, I think, has a little bit of a stance in terms of guys that, if you decide to, it depends on how you conduct yourself. It depends, like Jeremiah Brown. Coach Prime loved Jeremiah Brown. He knew that Jeremiah Brown just wanted to play, and so he was able to welcome him back with open arms. Other guys he knew were kind of screwing the program over, going for money, and so there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes. But my answer is yes, you do it because you want to build the relationships as early as possible so that you can potentially, take advantage or have some level of access to those in the future.
and I think this is good by Humble Texan. But as an NIL investor, there has to be some sort of return on that investment. Otherwise, people will stop putting money in. And I think that has been a lot of programs, seeing reports on, again, don't know how true they are, but I know I think it was Troy Aikman was talking about somebody, I can't remember if it was Troy, put so much amount of money into UCLA and they hit the portal. And it was like, yeah, why am I donating to this and, giving these massive donations? So I do agree with that part of it, Miles, but I think too, there is a business here, but you're playing the long game at this point, right? Putting that in, it's that whole thing about, right, there's that thing, you put money in the piggy bank kind of thing, right? It's one of those things, you keep putting it in a little bit, and at some point, the return's going to come.
The thing, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. So Cam mentioned it earlier a little bit, and it's been coming up in the chat a little bit about like my personal stance on this is like the whole idea around let's flip guys last minute. That's where I don't necessarily agree with the strategy, because if you're having to flip guys last minute, it most likely is due to money. You're most likely giving them more money than another school gave them at some point. What is that person who just extracted money out of you going to turn around and do to you the next year? I don't want to call it extortion, but they're going to say, hey, like, yep, I was able to get you to buck up for more money. I'm going to go do that to somebody else. I'm going to go get more money out of somebody else. So from my personal perspective, like, there is a lot of guys that if the game is based on money to begin with, it's always going to be based on money. And I think that we are coming to a head as a sport around whether or not there is donor fatigue. And if there is return on investment, like, I have a very good feeling that next season is going to be an improvement for the Buffs, but how much of an improvement is worth the investment that people are putting into the program? And that's the question that people are going to have to figure out.
Yep. And there was, I don't know, there's a lot of things going on, right? Some people are, right, again, a lot of the time people are pissed about the portal and like, oh my God, these kids are training, all this stuff. And again, there's this side of it, and then there's this side of it, right? It's that middle piece that I think we can all agree on. It needs to come to the middle some point. It needs to start shifting back towards the middle a little bit. But again, I get both sides of it, and it was just one of the things that, I was thinking about last night after I saw a couple of things, because it was Hassan Longstreet, where it was like, man, like, he was supposed to be the next big thing at USC. He's from there in Corona, 5-star recruit, right there in the Inland Empire, went to Centennial High School in Southern California, in Corona, California, just a phenomenal player. And he leaves. And it's like, this is crazy. This is wild to me. So, yeah.
And I tweeted this out last night. Again, go, if you haven't followed me already, go follow me on the link right there, Miles High Buffs. But a guy like, I know for a fact that Julian Lewis gets paid a lot of money, but I also know for a fact that Julian Lewis's primary motivations are not money. He gets the money that he deserves, and he's a highly ethical person in this program. I think one of the things that is also drastically unconsidered in all of this is that there are a lot of agents that are coming. Like, you have guys who are taking one business class at a university, calling themselves an agent, creating a Twitter page to make it look like they are somebody who really knows something about what they're talking about, calling these guys in saying, hey, I've got 3-4 different schools that are going to offer you twice, 3 times as much. I have seen this. I've talked to people that have done this and have admitted to it. And they say these things knowing 100% that that's not true. And they're just hoping that that becomes reality and that they can take a chunk of that check that they get the player. So there are a lot of guys that ultimately are being screwed over because of the system and because they're trusting people that are untrustworthy. And at the same time, there are guys that leave because the coaching staff says, hey, we don't think you fit this system. We don't think you're worth the money that you got last year. And there is power at the school side. Some schools want to revamp their roster too, as opposed to just having guys leave.
Yeah, and I'm with you there. Rodney Freeman had something about a running back that McChesney was talking about on his pod. I'm not, and I'm going to pull it up for you. I don't know who this kid is. I'm just kind of curious about if you've heard. And again, I love high school football recruiting, high school football in general. Follow it pretty closely. Man, I cannot find it. Rodney, if you're still on here, post that player's name. It was a running back that McChesney was talking about. I don't know who the kid is. I'm just curious to see where does he go to high school at. So Rodney, if you're still in here, I cannot find. Let me go through.
I know what you were. It was way earlier in the chat if you're scrolling, but
I think is
and a couple of these guys, Hassan Longstreet and Cam Michael has come up a couple of times too. These guys want to play and they want to feel like they are being valued in the scheme for what they are good at. Cam Michael is a case study in how to improperly use a player. He did not deserve what they did to him last year. So if he goes to a Georgia Southern, great, because that is a staff that has the opportunity to actually put him in a position to succeed the way he's meant to, as opposed to just being like, we don't know where to put you. Here you go. But yeah, sorry, continue.
And no, you're good. And I know my guy, Sean, if you're on here, man, he's Georgia Southern, huge CU fan, alumni of Georgia Southern. So I think he would be really excited if Cam Michael ended up at Georgia Southern. So yeah, shout out Sean if you're on here, man. But yeah, Roddy Freeman says, do you guys know about the running back Eliak, who is in high school in Colorado? McChesney said he's a beast. I don't know who this is. I'm somebody who follows high school football. I'm kind of curious to see what high school does this kid go to? I do know, McChesney, he runs as an agent service as well. So again, some of that stuff is hyping up his client, right? And again, nothing wrong with that. I would be doing the same. But again, I don't know who the kid is, right? He runs, 6-0 Academy, I think McChesney runs.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly offensive, defensive linemen, but
yep. Don't know who he is though, but if you know anything about him, if you can find him, research him. I've been looking, and I'm not sure who he is.
Yeah, I was just about to get to the point that Dreg puts there most recently is like, I agree. I think that a lot of people will say a lot of different things about the reports that came out the last couple of weeks about who's to blame, who's not to blame, and things that were done. I do know for a fact that there was some level of intentional non-commitment is what I'm trying to say, to embracing the University of Colorado the state of Colorado players. I don't know why that was. I can't ever explain some of these things, but I do know that is, as everybody saw in the article, Lovo's primary focus is getting that back into the system, getting the heart of the state of Colorado back into CU, because those are the guys who want to be here. Those are the guys who, they may not be guys who came to every single game as a kid, but they do have some level of like, wow, my home state wants me to stay here. And really I heard from Brett Colliger, I think, or one of his two guys between Breck and the other one, somebody had said, admittedly, they were like, yeah, CU went for me, but they didn't really show me that they actually cared. Other schools went way harder. And that's a problem.
Was it Deacon Schmidt?
It might have been Deacon Schmidt. It was one of those two was like, yeah, they gave me an offer and they brought me in, but they didn't really make me feel like they actually wanted me. And that's the problem.
Yep.
And so, yeah.
And it was Braylon Hodge from Cherry Creek High School.
That one too. Yes.
Yep. He is one that he was just like, there's no love. You got to be wanted where you go. And it was, and again, I highlighted Cam Duncan here. He says, yeah, that was thanks to Corey Phillips. He got in, I think, like you said, we all seen it. It sounded like whatever it was just kind of like, we're just not going to recruit the state of Colorado. And again, whatever that is crazy. And again, a reason why Corey Phillips is no longer with the program, right?
Yeah. And again, I don't want to just point it at one finger or at one person, but it's been alluded to in the chat and people were talking about it. Mm-hmm. I've heard the same thing. I don't want to give away. I've talked to Matt and I heard that meeting went really well and that he feels very confident that CU will, prioritize the state of Colorado moving forward. So anyone else who's been concerned about that, I would just say, wait until we start, throwing out really intense offers, like getting really into high school recruiting season, because you'll start to see more of an emphasis there. So.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at. And that was a problem I had. And I think one of the things that we kind of started to see last year was that shift to Southern California. And I did a whole show on this a couple months ago. Miles, I'm not sure if you watched it or not.
I tried to watch.
Okay, I didn't even know if you know I existed before this. But we did a show on it. Like, right, you look at all the CU greats. When CU was a good football program, the years that they were outside of a couple years ago, they predominantly recruited California, right? And they would keep the recruits in state, right? And they would clean up the western part, go get your couple, a little bit here from Texas, from Georgia, Florida, right? It would be a little bit here and there. But that pipeline to Southern California, right, specifically Southern California, that is a place that it seems like they're going to hit. They're going to hit the state of Colorado now. And again, this is just kind of how you build a program. Oh, we got our guy Dave in here.
Yeah,
there you go, Dave. Hope all is well, man. What do you think so far of the portal? Do you like it? Who's your favorite signing? And if you guys don't follow David Talks Buffs, great show. If you guys don't know who he is, fantastic person as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say too, Cam, DM me on Twitter. I want to talk.
Too. Yep.
I want to talk. DM us on Twitter. I want to talk.
Yep. Well, would love to talk with you. I was going to say the same thing. So,
but and there was one thing that was mentioned earlier. Somebody had asked, what happens to a guy if they don't, commit early on or they don't get out of the portal. The sad reality of what happens is that these guys, you've seen it before, but a lot of guys don't know that this is the last time they've played a high level snap of football because they're following advice of people that don't have their best interest in heart. They get lost. And a lot of times, like if you don't have a lot of film, you don't have a lot to show, and you think that just being a D1 athlete is going to cause you to get a bunch of D1 offers. It's not the reality of there are, I think it was like 7,000 to 9,000 kids actively in the portal still. And it's a sad world. Kids, they can try to go down, but like once you go down, it is so hard to get back up. So yeah, the unfortunate reality is a lot of kids, they leave and they don't come back. I had a thread on it last year. I've done it for the last 2 years, is like, where are they now for CU athletes? You can find it on my page somewhere. I think it's in the highlights. But there are guys who have left CU, and I couldn't find anything about what happened to them after. I put them as unknown, essentially.
Yeah. Nope, absolutely. Yeah, it is bad advice, right? And, dabbling in that space a little bit, it exists for sure. It exists for sure. And so, Dave dropped a video. Yeah, I'm always trying to retweet that, but he, I like this. I was thinking the same thing about Edelman, Scaduro from hopefully I'm saying that right, our San Jose State guy.
I think you're on. I see it.
Yep, I see it too. So let's jump into this now, Miles. Just try to underrated. Who do you think the most underrated signing is in your opinion?
I mean, underrated in what context, right? Like you could see slept on. I think Lumont Lester is the most slept on, purely just because I don't think enough people really look at Monmouth as a football school in any capacity. But his tape is excellent. He is really shifty off the edge. And I think I had read too that he had tweeted something like he's listed at 240, but he does his physical at CU and he's like up to 242 now or something.
I thought it was like 247, wasn't it?
Yeah, something? Like something of that nature. Like guys that grow like that, being a redshirt freshman, that's my underrated. Like he could come out and ball real quick.
Yeah. Man, yeah, I saw. So real quick, I saw Oregon was up 7-0, and it looks like Indiana is now pouring it on. So, I've been trying so hard not to say anything to this. David and I will text back and forth. I'm just gonna let it rip. So I'm a Raider fan. Again, if you guys are watching on Twitter, you guys are probably or on X or follow me on there. You're like, oh yeah, he's always retweeting Raider stuff. I think it's even in the profile. I call this the Raider Bowl. So I was so happy the Raiders. So I was like gonna watch this, so excited. And Indiana's a whole different animal right now. Holy cow. Yeah, I thought I was 7-0 worried about this, about an hour ago. So yeah, trust me, Miles did not expect this to go this long.
But it's fun. It's fun. I appreciate when you get great engagement like this in the chat. Like this is what we want from you guys every single week. This is why I joined the show, is I know Manny's got a great community going on in here. So we want to have this to be an open conversation. Like we want you to be as engaged as possible. But that's what I'll say. Like watch those guys on Indiana. Like everyone who says, oh, G5 University, FCSU, like those guys are Indiana. Like that's the type of athlete that they brought over, and they evaluated talent. They found guys. Yeah, they're older. Not gonna beat around the bush. They're older guys. But at the same time, you know, I think you find talent that other people don't see, and you look at the production, you look at the not just the stars, and that's what you want for your university. And all the props to Kurt Signetti. He is an animal, and it's what we can hope Coach Prime does. It's all he can ask for.
Yep, I love Kurt Signetti. I just love what he did at Indiana. He has turned, holy cow, Indiana the basketball school, right? Hoosiers, Bob Knight, all of that, right? And now it is, yeah, you know, I'm not an Indiana basketball fan, none of that, but it is just, I think he's the best coach in the country now. I don't even know what the argument would be at this point, right? Like I'm sold there. I'm sold on him. I'm all in there. So
I got a question for everybody in the chat. I want to hear everybody's honest opinion. Who's better next season, Ole Miss or LSU? Does Lane Kiffin regret leaving Ole Miss after one season? I want to see what people say in the chat because I was rooting for Ole Miss. I really wanted them to win that game last night. But yeah, I mean, if they're out, then I want Indiana to go all the way.
Yeah, I was rooting for Ole Miss, but man, I'm glad to see the U back. Like, it is so cool. Like, and Dave, thanks for that. Yeah, really happy to add Miles on. We did a show about a month ago now, and just you know, going back and forth, and took a little bit longer than we hoped for, but it was in the works since then a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm just glad, you know, the U's back. You know,
so I got to take on this. People, again, in the chat, tell me your thoughts on this. I have repeatedly said in just my own circles that the biggest thing preventing Miami from being like a powerhouse was just winning, like just generally like getting to the final stage. Because you hear it from like a Jeremiah Smith, like players want to go to Miami. Who doesn't want to be in Miami and go to school at Miami? The only thing that was preventing them from really like dominating a lot of the portal and high school recruiting was, you know, just getting to that pinnacle, and now they're there. So like, I'm scared to see. I could think they could have a number 1 or number 2 class next season in high school.
Yep, they are going to absolutely kill it. Yeah, I'm happy they're back. You know, I grew Clinton Portis and Edrin James was there when I was younger. Andre Johnson's, all those Ed Reed, you know, those dudes were just like Vince Wilfork, DJ Williams. Like I'm a huge fan of the U. I know, you know, when they lost that national championship against Ohio State, they got hosed in that. That was awful. But I know my older brother and I, we were like two of the only people that we knew going for Miami, just because, gosh, they had such cool players, and when they are good, it is good for the sport.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm surprised I see so much LSU in the chat. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like a sucker for an underdog, or like the bitter X type of guy. But like, I don't know. I just didn't like what he did, and maybe he'll probably end up being better. I think they have one of the top 3 classes in the portal right now. But I honestly thought that's where Omarin was going. I did not expect him to go to Arizona State. I thought LSU was a lock, being, you know, from Louisiana. I knew it was Arizona State from. Yeah, I knew the whole time. So if you that's great.
Yeah,
we should have talked about it.
I was kind of like, well, why the hell is he going there? And that was the question: is why the hell is he going to Arizona State with Sam Levitt out the door? Like, I couldn't process that, right? So I don't know. I mean, I know why now, right? Money talks, right?
To be fair, I didn't think Sam Levitt was going to be as good as he was. So I know that they just brought in the transfer, I think, from Kentucky. So he could be a beast. If Sam Levitt was, he could too.
And I'm going to go with them. I agree. LSU is going to be better. Lane Kiffin's he's a hell of a coach. You know, right now, all these players are saying the right thing, but I expect a lot of them from Ole Miss in the next few days. You're going to see a lot of players start entering the portal.
Yeah.
in my opinion. So
it's a good point too. Just if Chambliss had gotten an extra year eligibility, that might be a different story. I heard that that's not dead in the water yet. I saw a text strain with his lawyer saying that they're going to fight it and they're going to try to appeal it, and there's some bureaucracy that caused that to happen. If there's a 7th-year quarterback that can play in the college football playoff that he just lost to, I don't know why a 6th-year wouldn't also get another year.
Yeah, I saw this too. The Sam Levitt is waiting to go to Miami. I saw that today too, and I was like, damn, seems perfect. Yeah, it seems like a perfect fit. So I did see that though. And again, I want to see in the chat, where's Dylan Raiola going? Outside of KFC or Arby's, where's Dylan Raiola going? Because that's the biggest. Like I was like that when I saw that happen. I was like, he's going to Kansas City, man. Like,
yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be doing there, but it's and again. The whole Mahomes thing is weird. It is like, did you see that thing where he was he's going to ASU. Okay, so not Kansas City.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I don't know if he's being serious, but
yeah, are you being serious, Dave?
Because
if that is so, like now I'm like shit. He's there with the Martin Miller. yeah, that would suck.
How many players are left in the portal? A lot.
40. I mean, I looked. There was 4,700 at one point. I know that number's only rising. I don't know. A lot of players.
I was going to say,
that's just my idea.
Yeah, it's a lot. Raiola to Clemson. That could be interesting.
You know, I have this hot take. This is something to think about. Clemson, right? They're not doing as hot, and it all lines up with Brent Venables leaving to Oklahoma, and look at Oklahoma now. I'm almost curious now if that was the person, driving the ship there, steering the ship there. I've convinced myself at this point, though, that it is Brent Venables at Clemson. So, and him leaving, it's not a coincidence because now look at them. Look at Clemson now. Look at Oklahoma now. So and I love Dabo. Do not get me wrong, but
I hear what you're saying. I also and this goes back to, like I've said it 3 or 4 times, you got to play the game. I understand Dabo's perspective, and I understand we're not going to do this, and we're not going to adjust to the times. I mean, they just went and got London Merritt. Good for him. For anybody who's watching, London Merritt is going to thrive at Clemson. He's going to be incredible. Alex McPherson is going to kick butt at Penn State too. But either way, I digress. I think you got to play the game. I think you got to be willing to adjust and not just think that your old ways are going to take you into the new chapter. And I appreciate his whole stance of if you don't like how I do it, just fire me. If you're going to think that, me getting you above 500 every year is bad, then fire me. Do it, calling their bluff. But at the same time, I just think that for them to really get back to the pinnacle, somebody in that building's got to adjust to the times.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Brent Venables will hire him at Oklahoma.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, he's maybe a believer. But yeah, and I think too underrated. My favorite signing so far is Lumont Lester. Just jumping back into this, underrated. Call it whatever. I just love what he brings right now. I think I was even on Dave's show a couple weeks back, or maybe earlier in the week, talking about Lumont Lester. But yeah, just really, really, that's my favorite, most underrated. And then hardworking, I think we can agree there. Who do you got?
Hardest working is Gideon Lampron. That guy never stops. That guy, he is sideline to sideline. He will actually. I mean, the other one I will say, and I heard this from Nathan Mitchell, was that he said, and I quote, that Tyler Martinez would die on a football field before he came off. So that's probably your hardest worker right there. Between those two, you got guys that are gonna,
that motor.
Yeah, 100%. Can you pin that comment from Kay Sutton? This is something, and we can wrap the show here, but I want everybody to. I do my best as a supporter of the Buffs here in the community. Go support these guys. Go wish they do well. These are kids. There is no reason to go belittling or being mean to these kids for making decisions that they think is right. If they want to do something to be closer to family or money, it's their decision, and you should never go being irrationally rude or hurtful to these kids for just making decisions that any of us would have made with this amount of money involved and at that age.
Yep.
So
I would do the
go
same
be nice. Go be supportive.
At my age right now. And, we've talked about this earlier in the season, all these hateful Caden Salt or whatever. It's like, they're still kids at the end of the day. I don't care how much they make. I don't care any of that. They are kids at the end of the day, and we have to absolutely remember this. And, and again, I couldn't, Miles and I, we didn't even talk about this. So if this sounds like repeat, like I promise you guys, we have never even had this conversation. They are kids at the end of the day, still trying to find their way. Somebody offered me a new position at somewhere else, I would leave tomorrow, right? I would leave right now. Like, hey, we're going to quadruple, double your salary. I'm like, peace. I would do the same thing, right? Like it's still a business at the end of the day. And again, these are still kids though. So understand that we don't know the circumstances. Some are moving back home because maybe a family member is sick, whatever it may be. But again, they are still kids.
And the last thing I'll say, and I promise we can wrap it here for everybody, is go like when you see guys get offers, go support it, go comment, go engage with those tweets. Those I have heard, like it may not be the tagging the coaches that makes a difference, but go engage when you see somebody on campus or some, welcome them, do those types of things. Like those make a difference. And just be good shoulder to shoulder Buffaloes that we should all want our players to be. So we can wrap it there. I know we've gone well over time here.
All right. No, we're good. We're good. Guys, again, just thank you for joining tonight. Just a great turnout. Love the chat is active. Just appreciate you guys. Like we always talk about, without you guys, there is no show. You guys make this what this is. And again, we're off to a brand new year. We're off, Adam Miles here. Could not be more thankful to have him on here. And we're going to just continue bringing this content, bringing it our best. We will be back Monday at 5:30. So make sure we're ready for that. We just kind of wanted to chat to bring up the portal, because it's like, man, I'm not going to wait till Monday because holy cow, we're going to have a lot to catch up on. So again, make sure to follow me, myself now, Manny, on X at Manny_303, IG at 303_Manny. And then Miles, I'll let you.
Yeah, I'm on X at Miles High Buffs, like Mile High, but with an S, my name. I run a community on there too, where I'm throwing numbers and trying to keep up with the news as much as possible. It's pinned on my profile. It's just called CU News and Numbers. Get in there, get commenting. Like, we want this community to be as engaged as possible. If you have questions or you want to follow up with us on things, please, hit our DMs. Like, they're open and active, and we don't hide ourselves in any capacity. So looking forward to being on the show more often, and appreciate you guys all watching. And like Kay says, hit that like button on your way out.
Like, subscribe, share out, whatever it is. And again, you catch Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Believe, or wherever it is that you get your podcasting from. We are on there. And then check out our store, as well as follow our main channel at VOCFB. Again, thank you guys so much. We will catch you guys next week on Monday in a couple of days. Again, hit us on the DM. Yep. Make sure you hit the like button as well, because again, without you guys, there's no show. We appreciate you guys so much. But until next time, we'll catch you guys later. And yeah, I do this thing, I do like Travis Hunter did. Let's go Buffs, baby. All right, guys, have a good weekend. Catch you guys later.